Hey there friends, it's Liz from the Peacock Homestead, and it is week 3 of the Every Bit Counts Challenge, and it is flying by. But that's okay. This week I'm going to be doing some more preservation. I'll be harvesting my beets and showing some homestead meals. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, let's get into the video. These are my morning glories that I planted in the front yard in an oversized pot. So every morning I get new beautiful flowers. So there's like a variety of different colors of white. There's stripes, and as you can see there's like purple ones, and I think I've gotten pink ones before, but they have beautiful stars in the middle. They're gorgeous. So I have them throughout the video for you guys. But these are my beets. I have one side of the garden full of beets and the other side full of carrots. So I'm just harvesting those. I was actually going to pickle some of these beets, but I changed my mind. I want to blanch them so I can slip the skins off, and then I will vacuum pack about 2 serving sizes for Tom and I, so I can take them out of the freezer and just use them for different meals. It's a really good feeling to actually preserve your harvest, and then you just learn every year like what worked, what didn't work. I've been gardening for a while, or over a decade, and this is the first time I've ever grown beets. So it's super exciting that I actually got anything, and we're really happy with it. But I'm gonna go store these in the wood chips until I can preserve them. And of course I can't do anything without my assistants, Jack and Blessing. They're so cute. So I'm definitely going to be planting my beets in the same spot since they liked it so much, except for I will weed them out. I'll have to get the strength to pull out the babies. I know it's hard, but I'll get a bigger beet, so I'll thank myself later. And I'm just going to give all these greens to my chickies because they deserve it. They make me beautiful eggs. All right, let's take a look at these beets and see how much they weigh. Looks like I got 7.67. That's pretty good for my first harvest. I gave them a good bath, and now I'm gonna just pop them in some boiling water. I added a little bit of salt and vinegar, and then we're gonna boil these for about 30 minutes. If you had bigger ones, they'd probably be boiled for about 60 minutes, but I just check them on the way through of the boiling process, and this is what they look like all peeled. They look like beautiful rubies, and now I'm just gonna get them vacuum packed up, and this is what they look like all vacuum packed up. I have 2 servings in each bag, and we got 6 bags, and there is another project done. These would be really delicious as a side dish or in a casserole. You can pop it in some potato salads. It's going to be delicious. So I was weeding the front of my garden, like against my house I have little flower beds, and I had some rosemary in it, and I accidentally pulled the whole thing out, so I guess I'm using that this week. Or maybe I'll just dehydrate it up and put it in a little container. But that was my bagels, and this is my sourdough bread I'm making for the week, and I'm gonna get it rising. I figured since I was cooking and doing all the preserving, I was going to make a quick pita, so I just took some dough out of the freezer and let it thaw, and I added slices of ham and some spices in the garden, and for the sauce I use a can of my salsa that I canned last year, and this is what it looked like. It turned out so good. I have thyme on there and basil, ham, and the salsa. It was really delicious, and the hubs actually came back for seconds on this one. I'm gonna get my bagels all shaped and boiled. I'm gonna pop them in to the oven, and I'm gonna get my bread going too. as soon as that gets up to an inch or two over the edge there, I'm gonna pop that in the oven too. So in goes the bagels. And this is what they look like. So we just use those for breakfast sandwiches, and then when I'm taking lunch, I'll just make a quick sandwich or even have a half a bagel. But they're super filling and really delicious. And this is the way I do my bread if I'm in a hurry and I don't have time to preheat ovens. And I just cook it in my glass pan. So I was thinking about different ways on how to use my zucchini for savory meals. So today I'm gonna make fried zucchini. I'm just gonna fry it like a fried green tomato. And I was gonna get that all breaded up, and we're gonna put that in the air fryer and let that cook. And then for next week's video, I did zucchini boats, so I can't wait to show you guys that. But this is what they look like all breaded up. I just use flour, and then I use breadcrumbs and eggs, and I pop that in the air fryer for about a good 30 minutes. That's just an air fryer that I got at Walmart. And this is what they look like. They're super crunchy and nice and tender in the middle. And then to go with that, I'm making some cheeseburgers. So I'm getting that going on my cast iron pan, and we're just gonna have a simple, easy meal. And I'm using up that zucchini, so that's what counts. And actually, my dogs are loving the zucchini. I've been shredding it in their chicken, and I've been sharing them different meals that we eat with the zucchini, and they're loving it. So that makes me happy too. My dogs are eating healthy. We've actually been harvesting quite a bit of different culinary and medicinal herbs out of the garden. This is my echinacea. It smells really amazing. I use this to boost my immunity, and I also give it to my animals as well. And we had to harvest our spaghetti squash because some worm or critter or insect cut the cord off the vine, so they were just all sitting there waiting for me to get them off the ground. We'll see how far they are mature. We are going to try them. Hopefully they'll be good. And my chicks are getting so big, in about a couple weeks I'm going to put them with the big kids. So another project that I started is making chicken bone broth. I had to get all the carcasses out of my freezer to make room for some of the harvest that's going to be going in there. And I'm just going to let this cook all day, and then we'll can it up at the end of the day. I'm nervous for my little girls coming out with these animals, but that's okay. I'm just gonna keep an eye on them. I'm gonna check everyone's wings so they don't fly out of the fence, because they're pretty good at that, but I'll have to definitely monitor when they first go in. So another project I did this week is I got some peppers and onions, and I have my zucchini from my garden, and I'm making relish for the first time. I had so much of the peppers and onions left over, so I vacuum packed a few bags and 1 bag of zucchini that was left over because I measured out 9 pounds of everything. So I use the bag, the Mrs. Wages pickling spice, the bread and butter spice, and I did the directions in the back of that. And my immersion stick blender did not work, so I'm going for the big guns. I got my Ninja blender, and it gave me the perfect consistency, so I was happy with that. So I have some jars here, and then I have my sweet relish, and I'm just gonna fill up the jars up to the neck, wipe all the rims and get it nice and clean, and then put the rings on finger tight. And then I'm actually gonna steam this for 10 minutes, and it turned out so wonderful. I can't wait to show you guys the end result. I figured we can use this for different things, for toppings on different meals. So far I've tried it on a bagel with cream cheese, and that was amazing. And we've had sausages the other night, and I just had that on top, and it was really amazing, all with all the fresh vegetables and the pickling flavor. It definitely jazzed that right up. So I got that all in the canner, and I'm going to bring it up to temperature and time it for 10 minutes, turn it off, let it sit for 5 minutes, and then we'll take it out, and then this is what it looks like. So it has a little separation, but that's fine. You can use a liquid to put in tuna salads or whatnot. It is delicious that way. This is the front of my house, so I have a beautiful, humongous basil plant that I've never grown basil like this before, so I'm really surprised and definitely happy about it. And then I had a loofah plant in it as well next to it. These are some of my tomatoes. I have Roma tomatoes. So what I did last year is I got some tomatoes from the Amish and I canned all those up with spaghetti sauce and whatnot. I saved the seeds for this year and I just watered them and planted them. Awesome! I have a whole bunch of mint in the front. I have some chocolate mint, spearmint, and peppermint. So I harvested some of that this week. And then I'm going to give them a good wash and we'll put them in my little tower dryer that I have in my dining room. So I got my echinacea in there. I have mint in this one and in the one above it, and then the echinacea I have underneath, and that's all going to dry. And then I was going to put them in jars and store them for when I make teas and stuff. And speaking of my herbs, this is what I harvested so far this year. I have some cilantro, and in here I have basil, and then I have thyme mixed with rosemary. I just mixed them together in that one. I have some more basil here. And on the end, I have some sage and basil. I do little different mixes for my culinary uses and my tea uses. Here I have a stinging nettle. And then I also harvested a bunch of lemon balm. And in this one, I have mint. And here is some of my elderflowers, and I love making tea with it. And then I also have some German chamomile. I'll probably be using this for tea and for eye washes, so if you have a pink eye or just one of your animal's eyes irritated, you can use that for a nice little eye wash. I also harvested some of my dill. I let it go to seed, and then I'm just going to hang it up on my window and let it dry, and then we can use it for pickling or spices or whatever we need it for. And we've had a ton of butterflies this month. They are so beautiful. And now it's time to can my chicken bone broth. I'm just going to get these into 6-quart jars, and we're going to get that on the shelf. We love using this making rice or soups, and I love using it for making my hamburger helper and any kind of broth that I want to use for, say, a roast or anything. You pop that in there and it's easy, and you know who made it and you know what's in it, so that makes me feel so much better. I'm using an oven mitt because these are super hot, and I made sure I cleaned the rims off very well because that has got some fat in it. And this is what it looks like coming out of the canner. So I'm super excited to have these on my shelf. This week I went to the farmer's market and I purchased some poblano peppers. We got an eggplant, 2 melons. They have yellow flesh inside with seeds, so I'll be saving the seeds. And I'm starting to decorate a little bit for fall. I have these fake sunflowers because the deer ate mine. And I have a nice little table runner and these 2 little gnomes that I got at the Dollar Tree, which are so adorable. And I just have some garden goodies and a couple of the melons that I got at the farmer's market and some baskets. And it's just makes a cute little tabletop, but we'll be eating these and I'll be giving some to my chickies, of course. For my next project, I am just going to be preserving these by chopping up my poblano peppers. I gave them a good bath, and I was going to save the seeds as well. So I julienne them up. I have them all cored here, and I'm gonna save the seeds. And then I'll let them dry on a plate, and then I will put them in a little spice jar that I recycled because I always save my spice jars. And then I will label it and try to plant them next year. So I vacuumed up 5 serving sizes, and they're gonna go right in the freezer. So yesterday I had the Amish stop by my house, and they told me that my peaches had arrived. I was so excited. And I also bought 4 racks of onions. So I got these 2 here, and then I'll show the other rack in the next video because I forgot to add it in. Sorry about that. But we're so excited. So this is going to be part of next week's video. I'll be doing wonderful things with these 2 bushels of peaches, and they are beautiful. I'll probably make some peach jam, and I wanted to make some peach salsa, and then we're also going to vacuum pack a bunch up and stick them in the freezer. And I also dolled up my wreath in the front of the house. So I got a couple cute things from the Dollar Tree. I got these little pumpkins, and I got this cute little mushroom that says Happy Harvest, and I added a few extra flowers to it. It's just a vine made out of a wreath, and then I kind of decorated how I felt looked pretty, and I think it looks cute on the door. There's my little ladies popping a squat on the tire. I guess they're having a powwow. They're so adorable. And that's it, friends. I hope you have a wonderful week. Many blessings, and I'll see you on the next video.